ESPN's continuing coverage of World Cup USA 94. I'm Jack Edwards. Today, we offer you two games simultaneously as Group C climaxes round-robin play. We're going to check in with both sites as we bring you games both on ESPN and on ESPN2. First to Dallas and Randy Hahn covering defending champion and Group C leader Germany against South Korea.
The U.S. team will be keeping a close eye on Germany today, possibly the Americans' next opponent. Heat will be a factor, so over the weekend, the Germans staged a midday practice, and the Koreans two-a-days to try to acclimate to the 100-degree-plus temperatures. Jurgen Klinsmann in Germany sit atop Group C, while Youngwon Seo in South Korea must realistically win today to advance to round two. Now, let's go to Ian Dark in Chicago.
It's decision day at Soldier Field. Spain are probably okay with a win or a tie, but Bolivia have to go all out for victory. Nothing else will do. Could be a battle of two strikers. Spain's Julio Salinas, a scorer in 3 World Cups. And Bolivia, well, they have the dangerous William Ramayo. Spain are going to start favourites here because guess what? Bolivia have never scored in World Cup history. Now back to you, Jack.
All right, Ian, a look at the Group C standings. All 4 teams could qualify for the second round with wins today. American fans undoubtedly are cheering for Germany because a German win or a tie against South Korea almost undoubtedly puts the U.S. into the second round. We'll check back with you at halftime. Out to the sites after this.
Of the Berlin Wall signified political and social changes in Germany. But its strength in international soccer remained unwavered, capturing its 3rd World Cup championship just 8 months later. Star striker Jurgen Klinsmann was a member of that celebrated group and is here now on what is the first unified German World Cup team. On June 17th, Klinsmann's goal was the difference versus Bolivia. 4 days later against Spain, down 1 goal, Klinsmann came through again, salvaging a tie. Today in Dallas, Klinsmann and the Germans beat an inspired South Korea. It is another scorching day in Dallas. It's the final game for Germany and South Korea in Group C play from the Cotton Bowl. Hi again, everybody. I'm Randy Hahn, along with Ron Newman, coach of the San Diego Sockers, and welcome to the World Cup on ESPN. This matchup today featuring the defending champions of the World Cup, Germany, who won it in 1990 in Italy. Ron Newman, we've seen them play 2 games leading into this one. Do they have what it takes to repeat as champions?
They certainly have it on paper, Randy, but the lovely, smooth way the Germans play, I've always loved it, but I haven't seen it developing yet in this game.
All right, the weather has been a factor throughout this World Cup. It's going to be a major factor today. Temperatures over 100 degrees, high humidity. Who will benefit from it or who will be hurt most?
Well, I think the South Koreans must benefit. I think they're fitter, and I think they're ready to play in the last 10 minutes, and if they can keep the game real tight for the first 10 minutes, for the last 10 minutes, I should say, they have a chance to make a real major upset here. All
right, let's go to the starting lineups for both teams today. For Bertie Vogt's German team, it'll be Bodo Illgner in goal again, and we watch with interest number 10, the captain, Lothar Matthäus. Ron Newman. He's making a transition to the sweeper position, and maybe because he's doing that, they haven't had the offense as in past years.
Well, it's very hard. He has to step forward into the midfield and keep the ball just like Beckenbauer used to do it. And he's got all the tools to do it. He's a wonderful player, but I think he does need to get more into the offense.
For South Korea in this, their 4th ever World Cup, they will come back again with Choi in goal. He was there in their opening 2 games. Watch for number 6, Young Jin Lee in the midfield. He has emerged as one of their key players in this World Cup.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a surprise. He's 30 years old, Randy, and he's been around a while, but he's had 2 great games so far, and he's looking like the leader of the pack.
All right, in games where it seems to be a mismatch on paper, as in this one, the weather can be the great equalizer. Germany has 40 wins in the World Cup. South Korea has never. Let's see if they can use that advantage of the weather today to make some history at the Cotton Bowl. World Cup Soccer on ESPN is brought to you by Snickers. Packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies. By the GM card, today's financial vehicle. By by MasterCard. MasterCard, official sponsor of the 1994 World Cup. By Canon, a world leader in cameras and office equipment. And by Ice Cold Coca-Cola Classic. Always refreshing, always Coca-Cola. Welcome back live to the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. It's Group C play, Germany and South Korea, and we're underway as they kick it off in this final game of the opening round for both these teams. As Jack Edwards pointed out, lots at stake for these two teams today, and also the United States can be impacted by this result. We at ESPN wish to thank Canon, Coca-Cola, General Motors, MasterCard, and Snickers for allowing us to bring you today's game commercial-free. This segment of the game is presented commercial-free by Snickers. It is South Korea, or the Korean Republic if you choose, in the blue. And on the attack, Germany, the defending World Cup champions, in the white. And a foul on the far side of the field called against Andreas Brehme. And the first free kick opportunity of the day for South Korea. Let's go to the all-important weather conditions right now. It is literally off the charts. 120 degrees Fahrenheit plus on the field. In the cool zone, the benched area that is air-conditioned, it is 100 degrees. It is very hot. It is very humid. This may be the hottest day of this World Cup so far. In Berlin, where they're watching this back in Germany, it's 87 degrees was the high today. So it's a big difference for the Germans, an even greater one for the Koreans. But remember, South Korea has already played a game here in the Texas heat. That was their remarkable 2-2 tie against Spain when they scored twice inside the final 5 minutes. And it is number 4 for Germany. Jürgen Kohler called for the foul. And Germany with the ball. Sammer, number 16, forced back across the halfway line, gives it away. Now it's Ju Sung Kim, number 9 for South Korea. We talked about him in our open. He has been organizing much of the attack for South Korea in this, their 4th World Cup appearance. Turn back over. The Germans work it wide on the near side. It is Thomas Hassler crossing behind Jürgen Klinsmann for Karl-Heinz Riedle. Riedle tried to flick it on to Klinsmann, but it's controlled by South Korea and taken in the back by number 4, Pan Koon Kim.
They're going to rely a lot on the double duo there, the Riedler and Klinsmann, Randy. I think they'll probably be the only two attacking.
Thomas Berthold, number 14 for Germany, clearing it to the near side. And here's the captain, Lothar Matthäus, the midfield general for most of his career with the German national team. Now in this, what will clearly be his last World Cup for Germany, he has been shifted by head coach Bertie Vogts back to the sweeper position. Now the Germans breaking up field, a foul called, and the Germans would have preferred advantage there. It was against Ju Sung Kim, number 9. There's Jürgen Klinsmann. He talked to us about playing in this brutal heat of Dallas.
It was very, very hard in the opening game against Bolivia. This was very, very difficult. And then it got better against Spain, about 90 degrees. That was quite okay. And now we expect actually similar conditions on Monday as in the first match, so about 100, 110 degrees. And this is really, it's not easy to play, especially when you play at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And you might ask, why are they playing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Primarily to accommodate European television so that this game can be presented in prime time there. That is a major consideration for World Cup officials. As it's cleared back into the penalty area, Bodo Illgner, the starting goalkeeper and also the man who was in goal when Germany won the World Cup over Argentina 4 years ago. Now the Germans working through midfield, and the midfield continues to be the source of much discussion for Germany so far. Ball played into the area for Matthäus Sammer, and it'll come out goal kick for South Korea.
Very intelligent run by Sammer there. Came from a very deep position there, Randy.
Obvious. Go ahead, Ron.
I think they surprised the Koreans. I think the key here, because this is another in the series, soccer in the sauna, is very important that neither team lose possession. It's very hard to race about looking for the ball in this type of heat. So ball possession is going to be very, very critical.
And, of course, pacing oneself. You've got to be able to last 90 minutes in this oppressive heat. Samar trying to win it in midfield, but the Koreans recover. Hong Ji-shin, number 7. He'll give it up, but Young Jin Lee, the midfielder, gets it back. Now the Koreans working it on the attack. Nice sliding tackle by Guido Buchwald. Now played to the front of the area, and South Korea turned it over there, as Germany so far has been very sure inside their own defensive zone. Stefan Effenberg playing it wide. Now on the left side, it's Andreas Brehme. Brehme with the cross for Klinsmann, and it's headed back out as Klinsmann got man marking in the front of the 6-yard box, but a good job to clear it there by South Korea. Number 5, Jung-Bae Park, is going to have a lot of responsibility on his hands dealing with Klinsmann today.
Well, Klinsmann gets on the end of any cross that comes over. That's where he's most dangerous. Anything that comes over, good cross, a bad cross, you'll always find Klinsmann there trying to get his head to it, trying to make a bad cross into a good one.
There's number 4. Pan-Kun Kim, played for South Korea in the '88 Olympic Games in Seoul. And he has gone the distance in the first 2 games for South Korea. A 2-2 tie with Spain in their opener, which was here at the Cotton Bowl. And then the Koreans played to a scoreless tie with Bolivia in what was a tremendously entertaining scoreless tie. And they have 2 points with 1 game to play, this one against Germany. Thomas Hassler, nice work on the near side, gets by Shin. Shin recovers, and the South Koreans, known for their speed, using it defensively there. Now they'll organize from the midfield. This is Sun Hong Hwang, number 18, bumping it up the near side. Trying to run onto it is Ju Sung Kim, the little Samson as he's known in South Korea. This will go for goal kick for Bodo Illgner. Joining us now in our broadcast location here at the Cotton Bowl is Mr. Carl Heijenboten. He is the chief medical officer for the Dallas venue. Doctor, I've got to put you on the spot here. At what point does the temperature become unhealthy for these players?
Well, I think the temperature is probably unhealthy for everybody who's out here today, but these players are all been well hydrated ahead of time, and their doctors with the teams are prepared to take care of them very well.
Here's a chance for Germany as it is brought in by Klinsmann, rejected, kept alive in the midfield, played wide by Samar. The Germans try to organize here. They can strike so quickly from this midfield area with their front runners. Stefan Effenberg waiting for it to drop in front of him, and it comes out. Doctor, what is the key thing for these teams to do before the game and then during it to make sure that they don't have to deal with major heat prostration problems?
Well, the main thing is to make sure the players are very, very well hydrated. They've had lots and lots of drink for the last 24 hours. And so they've got them just as well hydrated as possible. That's the whole key to the thing.
Apparently in Los Angeles yesterday, and I was there, it was hot. Many people watching the game had to deal with heat prostration problems. Are you set up for that here in Dallas?
Oh, yes, very definitely. Our medical people are very well prepared for it and have taken a lot of precautions.
Doctor, thanks for joining us. Stay cool. Carl Heijenboten, the chief medical officer for the Dallas venue. I should add, we have the luxury, and I mean luxury today, of an air-conditioned broadcast location. If not, it would be brutal out there, and it is for this sellout crowd. Hopefully the soccer will make up for it, as Mateus made a strong run to the edge of the box, brought down rather hard, and Mateus, slow to get up, grasping his right ankle. Play goes on to the midfield.
I think his shot was blocked there. Mateus has had a good chance, took the shot, but it was well blocked, and he's hurt his ankle.
Thomas Hassler on the right wing, looking for Klinsmann. He's got it, open net, and he missed it. It was cleared out, but Klinsmann's shot was off the mark. And now an offside flag is up on the near side, or is it not an offside flag? No, it was onside. They've given goal kick. What a chance for Klinsmann there.
It's a brilliant near post run by Klinsmann. He's dangerous again, going in there in front of the goalkeeper. The touch was just a little overdone. In fact, I think the goalkeeper might have clipped his ankle and took him off balance. Yes, he did. Otherwise, it might have been the first one.
Klinsmann stumbling toward the end line, had to get that off as the defense was closing. Germans were arguing for a corner kick there, but it was given goal kick for Korea. Klinsmann has the only goals Germany has scored in this World Cup so far. The opener against Bolivia in the 1-0 game at Chicago, and then the equalizer against Spain. There's Jurgen Kohler, and he will back up to the edge of the 18-yard box now. Kohler, the central defender, usually marks the top striker, and we watch the matchup here as you look at the referee for today's match, Joel Canillo from France. It is Coe being marked by, or check that, Coe with the ball and clearing it right to Lothar Matthäus. Matthäus getting some support by Andreas Brema. Brema plays it up the field. Brema was the man who scored the only goal in the World Cup final in 1990 in Italy on a penalty kick in the 1-0 win over Argentina. And he will forever hold a place in the rich German soccer history for that. The Germans have not exhibited their early round domination so far in this World Cup. As you see by those scores against Spain and Bolivia, they did not exactly roll past their opponents. Now it is Brema again in the back for Germany. Slots it across for Guido Buchwald. Buchwald making his first appearance after missing the first 2 games with a leg injury. Now cleared back, Karl-Heinz Riedle. Sending it to Effenberg. Now Sammer lunging out after it. And Korea doing the defensive midfield work to get it back. Now the return slide tackle by Thomas Berthold. And it's going to be a foul against Berthold. Well, speaking of fouls and speaking of yellow cards, many players in this match are in yellow card foul trouble. Kohler, who you just saw, as we look at the replay there on that foul, along with several others for the Germans. So everyone has to be wary of the yellow card foul trouble, and especially the Koreans with 5 players with 1 yellow card in this, the final game. And a missed opportunity there as Jungbai Park overran the ball. Now the Germans headman it, play it wide to the near side. Thomas Hassler. Hassler looking for Klinsmann, ever aware of his presence. Klinsmann with it, turns, scores! What a goal!
Hassler's got a lot of space on the right side. And Klinsmann's come into the box, but he's got it away from the goal, but he flicks it up in order to enable him to turn quicker. A brilliant goal on the turn. Klinsmann flicked it up to make it easier for himself, so he can turn on it and hook it in. Brilliant goal. That's why Klinsmann's Klinsmann.
Jurgen Klinsmann, and look at the reaction on the German bench as Klinsmann in the 12th minute has given Germany a 1-0 lead here at Dallas against South Korea. And stunned on the play was defender number 2 John Sun-sang for Korea, who was marking Klinsmann, only to see him flick it up and turn it on as lovely a goal as we've seen in the tournament. So it's 1-0 Germany. And this is the start that you had to predict. Not very often do the Germans give up the opening goal in a game. That's why when it happened against Spain, it was so talked about. Here they come again, and this time it is Sammer stepping on it. But he gets the benefit of the whistle and a foul call against South Korea. There's Matthäus Sammer. He is one of the players who bolstered this German team from East Germany. It's all one Germany now, but a number of players have really improved this German team from before unification, and Sammer is one. You see a slight breeze on the players' uniforms, but it is very slight. Again, if you joined us late on the field, it is over 120 degrees and high humidity. Here's the German free kick. They can put it in from here, no question about it. Riedle, or Matthäus rather, chipping it far side, chested down in the box, played far post, but no one home for Germany. As we pointed out, Jack Edwards in our pre-game show. Any success experienced by Germany here today helps the United States in its bid to get into the second round as a third-place qualifier. So on this day, at least, the USA cheering for Germany. It could be totally different if they meet next Saturday at Soldier Field in Chicago. Cheering for them one day and playing against them several later. Right now, it's 1-0 Germany on the goal by Jurgen Klinsmann. His third of the tournament, Germany's third of the tournament. To find Sammer. Now a chance for the Koreans, and a foul by Brema on the far side. This is the type of foul that's been given as a yellow card throughout the tournament. It won't be on this instance, but it quite easily could have come because the player fouled was in an attacking position, number 10 Ko.
Yeah, I think that was a good foul if you can get away with that. Not getting a yellow card on that, because the Koreans are off and running on that one. Nobody wants to get the ball back, though.
Well, we have a second here to explain the yellow card situation, and there has been some confusion over this. Yes, it is true yellow cards don't carry over into the second round if you have one at the end of the first round. But if you have a yellow now and get a yellow in this game, you will miss the next game. So there is still a yellow card situation in place, but it won't carry over into the next round. It's been a confusing point, especially for the USA. Ball into the area. Nice job up high by Guido Buchwald. But the Koreans come right back. Crossed into the area. Knocked down again. A volley from the near side by Little Samson, Ju Sung Kim. That had a chance if he could have kept it lower.
Yeah, bad technique, I think, Randy, on that one, because he had to get his heel right over the top of the ball to give that any chance of going in. But when fatigue is playing such a major factor, the technique is the first thing to go.
There's Bodo Ilkner. Talk about an outstanding record. He has now played 52 games for Germany, and only France and Luxembourg, of all countries, have ever scored more than one goal against him. He is also the benefit of a tremendous overall defensive system that the Germans have traditionally played and continue to do so under Berti Vogts. There's Klinsmann, the star for Germany in this tournament, and he has starred for them for a number of years now. Klinsmann was key to their success in last year's U.S. Cup. Stefan Effenberg can't control it. Here's Little Samson again into the area, and it's cleared out by Kohler. And South Korea putting on some pressure here. The central defense of Germany is holding up to it so far. Forced out, and this will go back to South Korea as they call the foul against Matthias Sammer.
Well, Effenberg made a real major error there, trying to allow the ball to run out for a goal kick. And the ball was stolen off him at the last minute and set up a wonderful opportunity for Korea. You can't afford to make those type of mistakes at a crucial time of this game.
Now a chance for Korea. A 3-on-3 attack. Beautiful play by Lothar Matthäus. That's what a sweeper is supposed to do. Take care of those situations. And he just stepped into that ball and stripped South Korea of a good scoring opportunity.
And that's not the first one he's done this game already. Lothar's made a couple of last-minute tackles with his toe. Germany appear to be giving the ball away a little bit too much.
Participating in bringing you today's game is Adidas, a part of the game for over 70 years. And by Sprint, the exclusive provider of long-distance voice and data communications for World Cup '94. And this segment of the game is presented commercial-free by GMC Truck. Jurgen Klinsmann now vaulting into the lead in goal scoring in this World Cup. He now shares that lead with Argentina's Gabriel Batistuta with 3 goals, and also Dahlin from Sweden, who had the brilliant game against Russia a couple of nights ago in Detroit. So it's a 3-way tie with 3 goals each. Germany in the white with the lead. Thomas Berthold. Now Thomas Hassler plays it to the far side. Brema trying to knock it up a little bit for Hassler to run onto, but boy, I don't know if too many people are going to want to make too many overlapping runs today, Ron, in this searing heat.
I think, Randy, you've got to play the ball to feet. You must play the ball to feet. The players aren't able to run.
Now across from midfield, Klinsmann out of scoring range certainly here, and getting possession back on the throw-in. Klinsmann shouting out instructions. You could hear it. Now Buchwald, and the shot hits the post.
keep the ball in play. It takes a wonderful bounce for Riedler, and Riedler on the spot, as he always is looking for that type of thing, and he was first to it. It was almost a half-hearted attempt to keep the ball in play, but Riedler got the lucky bounce, and Germany now looking very comfortable.
You see isolation there on Buchwald. Then the shot off the post as Choi, the keeper, struggles to find it. No problem for Karl-Heinz Riedler. And the Germans exploding out of the gate here in this almost unbearable temperature. They have looked as good as they have in this tournament. This is their already best offensive performance.
Well, I think that one there was like playing a 1-2 off the post for Riedler. But you've got to rely on a very fortunate bounce to count that type of goal. But it counts on the score chart, so Germany will be very happy with that.
Buchwald assisting on the goal by Karl-Heinz Riedler in the 19th minute. Here come the Germans again. It is Matthias Sammer. Brema from the back, bending it in. Riedler up in the air. Didn't win that challenge, but he is very good when he gets the service in the air. That time he had bad position on the defender. But when he gets the other side or goal side of the ball, he can just dart them into the corners of the net. Off his head. Now Stefan Effenberg. And this German lineup is star-studded, and you wondered when it would begin to emerge as a star-studded lineup. Maybe today is Germany's day.
Well, it does appear to me that the Germans have got a tactic here to play the ball wide. They've got Riedler and Klinsmann both going into the box, one going to the near post, one going to the back post, and anything that comes in, they're trying to knock the ball to each other. But I feel sure the Germans feel that the Koreans are weak in the air, and they're trying to exploit that.
Well, the heads have dropped a little bit already for South Korea. They very much needed a win. A tie could get them through to the second round, but they'd need help. But a loss will knock them out. And right now, they are in it deep, down 2-0 to Germany, and we are in the first half. Goals by Klinsmann and Riedler, and for Riedler, his first goal since October 13th of last year. And a shot goes astray as number 20 Hong for Korea just took a chance from 30 yards plus. And right now, if you're the South Korean coach over on the bench, Ho Kim, you have got to come up with something to try and get things settled down, never mind turned around.
I think if I was the German coach, I'd be shouting Spain, 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 Spain all the time, Randy, because that's their only chance. They were 2-0 down against Spain, and so miracles can happen once more time. From Germany's point of view, they want to kill the spirit of the Koreans, and the way to do that is to make them run, work the ball around, keep the ball, keep possession.
Headed to the edge of the box by Sun Hong Hwang, number 18. Now a tackle on the far side by Kohler, and the Germans with their precision advancing the ball quickly to midfield. Hassler losing it. Challenge there as Brema came in hard, and a yellow card is shown, but who's it shown to? It may be shown to the Korean. No, it is Brema, as the Korean player down injured is number 10 Jong-woon Ko.
I think that was a heat exhaustion tackle there, Randy. There was not a lot of danger on the halfway line to come in for a tackle from behind like that. But I don't think he really felt that he could run back if he lost possession there. It was a bad tackle. Not the sort of thing you should do at this stage.
Andreas Brema did not have a yellow card coming in, so he's all right. Here's little Sampson. Nice move on Matthias, and then Ilgner just pushes it over the bar. But Ju Sung Kim put a sweet move on Lothar Matthäus and almost got a goal back.
Well, that was a wonderful effort to beat somebody like Matthäus on a flick on the inside, and he had a wonderful shot. I bet he's wishing he could have kept it just a couple of inches lower.
I suggest that a lot of players in this tournament wish that. This new ball has resulted in lots of high shots, but let's look again.
Ball comes in, and Matthäus comes in and tries to get it immediately. I thought there was rather... But Kim should have tried to played it into the far corner. Off the corner
kick. It's whistled down, and it will come back to Germany on the throw-in near side. We're in the 25th minute. Germany with a 2-0 lead over the Korean Republic on goals by Jürgen Klinsmann and Karl-Heinz Riedle. Here's a replay of that corner kick.
Yeah, look at them all pushing in, trying to get the space there. Giving the goalkeeper absolutely no chance to come out and pick one up. The idea there, of course, was to stop the German goalkeeper from getting any space at all.
This is Lothar Matthäus, the all-time leader in appearances for Germany. This will be his 115th cap. Attacking again. It's knocked down by Matthäus as Hong tried to advance it. Now Hong again, and Hassler is there. Now Riedle pulls up, and he'll conserve some energy and wait for some support. And the Germans just knocking it around in the middle of the field now as Guido Buchwald plays it wide to Bremer. Here's Riedle.
This is what they should be doing now, Randy, knocking it about in this midfield. Make the Koreans run, but not like that.
Good anticipation there as Korea sends 4 attackers forward. Here's a chance, edge of the box, shot just wide. Number 15, Cho, letting that one go, and it skipped wide of the net. Ilgner was out to the near post to get the ball if it was on target, but that represents about as good a chance as South Korea's had today.
Look at the room. You could drive a double-decker bus through the German defense, and he should have done a lot better with that, and the game would have changed completely if he'd have tucked that in the corner. He had plenty of time. Should have hit that with the outside of his right foot and tried to curl it in that far corner. Young
Il Choi, number 12. He is in his 3rd game of this World Cup for Korea and almost got his first ever goal for them. Riedle upended in midfield, and he struggles to get back up, and here comes Korea again.
The Koreans can't say they're not getting some chances.
This is Shin playing it back for Jungbae Park. Park for Youngjin Lee. Now up front at the edge of the box. The shot well wide as Sung Hong Hwang, number 18, measured that one, but it was well off the target.
Well, Hwang is the big goal scorer for Korea, although as a target man, he's not got a lot of goals lately.
21 for his country overall, plays for the POSCO Adams in Korea. He is presently the active team leader in scoring for South Korea. But South Korea is a team that has had a frustrating history in the World Cup. This is their 4th ever World Cup, and they have yet to win a game. In fact, they thought that they might emerge as the first Asian country to win a game this year, but it turns out Saudi Arabia was. An offside flag is up. Klinsmann follows through and puts it in the net anyway, which is usually a good idea in case you weren't sure if it was a whistle from the crowd.
That's right. You can't.
They're going to give him a yellow card. Klinsmann's just received a yellow. Why, Ron?
Well, because he kicked the ball after the whistle went. The referee claims that Klinsmann knew that the game was dead, but I don't think that's right, because this ball, he's offside. Certainly he's offside here, but he must continue. Klinsmann must continue and put the ball in the net. You don't know whether the whistles come from the crowd. Every coach tells his players to continue and make sure the ball is dead.
So Klinsmann picks up a yellow card, his first of the tournament, and you question just a little bit the decision there, as the yellows have been flying late in this first round. And for some teams, it's going to be devastating. If they emerge to the second round, they'll be without big stars. Like the United States, who, if they advance, won't have John Harkes for their game in the round of 16. He'll be out with 2 yellow cards. Germany leading 2-0 here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. The temperature on the field over 120. They don't make thermometers, at least the ones we can buy, that go any higher than that. But the weather's fine for the Germans, or at least it's been favorable for them so far, as they space goals 7 minutes apart by Klinsmann and Riedle.
the Koreans not even putting pressure on Mateus there, knowing full well that he could get out of that problem, and they're going to save their energy.
Hassler looking wide to the right. Stefan Effenberg running to this, but he's marked up by Shin, number 7. Back for Hassler. Nice move by Hassler. Almost shook off Youngjin Lee. Now Effenberg with a chance at the edge, or make that Sammer. This is Effenberg into the box. Riedla between defenders, trying to find some space to get his head to the ball. Brema sprinting to it. He'll get a shot from here, crossing to the box. Klinsmann backing up to get position, but the defense closes as it comes to the near side, and Germany will throw it back over to the Koreans, who will put it into play.
Oh, Germany made a concerned effort there to get an extra goal, so they're not sitting back on their 2-goal lead.
Quickly given back to the Germans. Hassler, number 8, to number 20, Stefan Effenberg, and he is a star in waiting for Germany. Nice cross to the edge of the box. Klinsmann was pretty tied up, though, by Park, number 5. Klinsmann thought he might be able to buy a foul there at the edge of the box. Mateus, another steal in midfield. What's that, about 4 or 5 that he has just picked off the Korean midfield, or the defenders breaking from the back, and Mateus has really tracked down those passes so far in this game.
Well, we think of him being more as a playmaker, not a killer of plays.
Here's a chance left side, and too high. What a chance for Guido Buchwald, and he just got too much under it. He's not a goal scorer, and maybe we saw why there, because he had lots of room but just got too much foot under it.
Brought it down. He brought it down very well. I think the strange thing here is Klinsmann didn't come in and maybe look for an extra little pass there, but I guess he must have known that Buchwald would have shot in that type of situation normally. But again, I think maybe a little bit of fatigue there when he got there, just took his balance away. Guido
Buchwald, who essentially took Diego Maradona out of the game in the World Cup final in 1990 in Rome, has only 4 goals in his career for Germany, and he wasn't able to put the finishing touch on that shot.
Usually when somebody like Buchwald comes into the penalty box like that, they nose start to bleed. They've never been up that far upfield, you know. And he's not used to being in those situations.
Buchwald is a 10-year national team veteran, though. When you score 4 goals over 10 years, they are precious.
I bet he remembers every one.
He probably remembers every miss, too. Just don't get that many opportunities. Riedla with the ball over his head, marked by Young-il Choi, number 12, and Germany will get a corner kick, or no, a throw-in, as it came other side of the corner flag. And there's Riedla, who has one of the 2 German goals. He went through a real slump recently.
I'm so glad to see Riedla and Klinsmann back into that dual role up front. It's so dangerous.
There was a lot of controversy in Germany when Riedla started to show up for games but not put the ball in the back of the net. He only played in 111 minutes of their prior 8 games to the World Cup, so Bertie Vogts was resorting to even bringing Rudi Völler out of retirement, who's on this lineup. Here's Klinsmann in the box, had to make the adjustment to get it left foot. Now crosses back. Riedla can't reach it, and the keeper Choi is off the line, and he'll save it for South Korea. But those 2 you just pointed out, Ron Newman, Jürgen Klinsmann and Karl-Heinz Riedla, are a magical combination.
They're just waiting for these crosses to come over, and they fade away as the cross comes. The crosses are overhit, and by fading away from the defender, they're getting nearly every one of these.
Into the area. Nice chance here. Wong lifting it over the net.
Well, that was a Wong thing to do.
We're in the 34th minute, 2-0. In Group E, this is now the group of 3. 4 teams with 3 points and the same goal differential, and that could be a mess to sort out. But tomorrow, Italy against Mexico, 12:25 p.m. Eastern, 9:25 a.m. Pacific. We'll have it here on ESPN from RFK Stadium. That has turned into, expectedly, one of the best groups of this World Cup because of the quality of the teams, and regrettably, 1 team won't make the next round out of those 4. even if the fourth-place team from that group has more points than a third-place qualifier from another group, the fourth-place team still doesn't go. It's not like a wild card where the team with the most points goes. You've got to finish third in a group. Doesn't matter if you finish fourth, how many points you have.
It does seem a little shame there in that group, Randy, doesn't it? You'd think that if you qualified to be up there, you should be able to go. But that's the rules that they've... and there may be ways that they can orchestrate that, of course, and that's probably why they don't want to have all teams from one group manage to make it.
You saw that graphic there, and the last of it was drawing lots. That's flip of the coin, essentially, which is the last tiebreaker procedure after 4 before that. As number 5 for Korea, Jungbae Park lets another shot go from long range, and the South Koreans keep coming back, Ron, and they have shown already in this tournament they're not going to quit on you, evidenced by their record comeback against Spain. 2 goals inside the final 5 minutes was the first time in World Cup history that 2 goals were scored that late in a match to turn a loss into a tie. It had never happened before, and the Koreans did it against Spain. But Spain is not Germany, not by any stretch. Participating in bringing you today's game is Gillette Sensor and the Gillette Series. Gillette, the best a man can get. And by Fujifilm. Fuji, a new way of seeing things. This segment of the game is presented commercial-free by MasterCard. Thomas Hassler with the ball now for Germany on the free kick. The shots relatively even. Germany with a 7-6 edge so far here in the 37th minute. The cross, Riedler running onto it. Here's Klinsmann. Scores!
Well, Klinsmann's here. The moves he's making caused some real concern there for the Koreans. But I don't think Choi, the Korean goalkeeper, is going to be at all happy with this.
Klinsmann putting it on the ground, certainly within Choi's range, and it did not have a lot of pace on it, this shot, Ron.
No, but look at the way Klinsmann moves. He's looking for only a yard there. He's moving behind the defender. He comes in front, moves back again behind, and then at the critical moment, he's back in front and manages to get the ball and get another shot in.
Jurgen Klinsmann has now passed his goal total of the last World Cup. He had 3 in Italia 90. That was his 4th. He takes over the goal-scoring lead in this tournament, and Germany has a commanding 3-0 lead over South Korea. And again, this is good for the USA in their efforts to qualify as a third-place team. It seems almost certain that the USA will get through, but there is a mathematical possibility that would find the USA looking from the outside in. But this is one of the things that is in their favor, a Germany victory. And right now, they are steamrolling past South Korea as we are into the 39th minute. Klinsmann's second of the game. Riedler set it up, and it's 3-0. Now it's Young-il Choi for South Korea. Plays it back, looking front of the box, back for Choi, and he's brought down by Riedler. Impressive defense by number 9, retreating all the way to the edge of the penalty area.
Well, I'm sure he's saying to the coach, look, coach, how far back I am. I've made a tackle. And so that's good for Riedler, but it wasn't too bad a tackle. But here's a chance now for Korea. It's within scoring distance here.
Lee, number 6, and Kim, number 9, standing alongside the ball. Number 20, Hong, seemingly lining up to hit this, but there are lots of options, as you see. The German wall is set. Here's Hong, the cross into the wall. Comes back this side for Hong Ji-shin, number 7. Shin, a nice move, but the defender, Hassler, stays with him. Now Shin crosses. That's headed out by Kohler, and Kohler will give it away for corner kick. But a good decision there to jump on top of that cross because it had a dangerous look to it.
Hong Ji-shin, very impressive little bit of da-da dribbling down that left side. The cross could have been a little high. He had to miss that first man to get the ball into the box and cause problems.
Shin to take the corner kick as we look at a substitution coming in now for South Korea. Number 2, Jong Son Chung. And done for the day is number 6, Yong Jin Lee. Now for the corner for South Korea.
Player number 2.
I think Ilgner got a piece of it. Looked like he punched the right hand out. There was a lot of traffic. Now Klinsmann. 2 defenders back for South Korea.
I think you better wait for some support there, Klinsmann. The rest of his team still struggling to get over the halfway line. And Klinsmann must have detected that because he pulled it back and got a throw in, which is exactly what he wanted. Give his teammates enough time to get upfield.
Jurgen Klinsmann plays for AS Monaco in France. And he is the leader in scoring in this World Cup. And he has all but one of the German goals. They lead 3-0. Here in the first half, it could be a long second half for South Korea. Now Andreas Brema looking up for Sammer on the left wing. Played back to the middle. This is Jin Ho Cho, number 15. Goes wide to the right again, and the Germans retreat and set up their defensive look. Tapped back, chance there. Now Kohler rushing back. Ilgner, great timing to come and kick that one out. Kohler wouldn't have gotten there in time. And number 18, Sun Hong Hwang for South Korea, shaking his head.
Well, I think 80, this ball sat just right for Hwang, but he should have tried to beat the goalkeeper, flick it over the top of him. But this, I think, is the problem with Korea. They do make their chances, but the selection of finishing is deplorable, and they could score a lot more goals.
Now the corner kick for South Korea, right to Mateus. Volleyed from 23 yards, but Pan-Kun Kim unable to get it past the German defense. Now Riedle back there again. He may get some sort of Medal of Valor for his defensive work today to go along with his first goal in months. And just unable to keep it in is Hassler on the near side, but you've got to love the work rate that Bernie Voets is getting out of this traditionally efficient German team, and they have risen to the occasion here in the final game of group play as they head to the games of single knockout. In Chicago, Spain leading Bolivia 1-0 at Soldier Field, where the temperature is in the 80s. Much different than here, where it's in the hundreds. Cross into the box, cleared off the front of the 6-yard box. And it was, again, Kohler there, number 4. We are at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Randy Hunt along with Ron Newman. This is the final game for these teams in Group C play. Germany in the white, leading South Korea 3-0. And that shot goes over the net as Hong tried to find a way to beat Bodo Ilgner. And the South Koreans really haven't had a chance to implement their game plan because the Germans came right out in the 12th minute and scored. Did it again 7 minutes later, and more recently in the 37th minute have added a third. And it would seem that on this day, South Korea may not have enough to come back.
It doesn't seem like it, but they're still attacking, still making opportunities. A goal can, again, at any stage of the game, Randy, can change the atmosphere of a game and give a team confidence. Stranger things have happened.
We will note that.
But number 7, Shin, has got all sorts of opportunities down at left side.
Riedle offside. And no argument there. And the quick restart by South Korea. Here is Kim. They call him Little Samson because he used to have long hair a la Samson, but he cut it off. They're still calling him Little Samson because they haven't thought up a new name yet. This is Shin. Hard tackle there as Kim loses the ball. Effenberg doesn't like the way Kim released his boot from Effenberg's grasp. And a little bit of controversy there, but it'll go uncalled by the referee. Kim and Effenberg still matched up. Ball into the near corner now. And Effenberg delivering a foul there, and he's going to see a yellow card. Stefan Effenberg gets a yellow, and Effenberg has got to be unhappy with that. That is his second yellow, and he will miss Germany's next game. Just like that, he is out of the round of 16 game. Not a good decision there by Effenberg, because it was the earlier confrontation seconds before with Kim. Ilgner fumbles, and at the side, Kohler saves his keeper.
Oh my goodness, Ilgner. I can't remember when the last time he ever did this. But the ball must have been slippery, but he had it both hands behind the ball and just slipped out of his grasp. Oh, for the last minute toe, got the ball out of danger.
Jürgen Kohler with brilliant work at the far post. Now a loose ball. Germans a little hesitant here after that scare at the far post. Now Sammer with a unwise move almost gave it back to the attacking South Koreans. Let's see how this one goes. It will be Korea ball. So a little panic by the Germans after that great chance. Quickly the South Koreans put it back into play. Might as well take advantage of this change in momentum here. Played back into midfield. Now chipped inside the box. And that was going to be a tough one for Hwang to bring in, and he couldn't. It'll go goal kick.
If you'd had one leg longer than the other, then Hwang might have been able to get pulled that in and cause some more trouble. But they're making chances against this wonderful German defense. Although they've not finished any of them off.
Bodo Ilgner with a rare fumble. And there's been so much talk about the new ball and the spin it has and how it knuckles in a different way. And you have to wonder, when all these world-class goalkeepers are consistently coming across with the same theme, that there might be something to it. Not just keeper speak.
I think there, oh, that was a foul. I think there the Germans have got Lady Luck on their side, and the Koreans haven't. The Koreans had the ball off the post and went in an easy shot. That one should have been a goal.
Coming up at halftime, John Harkes reacts to his suspension for a second yellow card, and a controversial one yesterday in the USA's 1-0 loss to Romania. We'll also have highlights of the Bolivia-Spain game. Marcelo Balboa will also join us to talk about what's next for the USA. And really what's next is a waiting game to see if life unfolds for them as it should. The odds are they'll make it to the next round, but it's not certain yet. Cross into the box, and Riedle almost got to that one as it went sailing over the Korean defense, and Germany will throw it in near side.
Riedle and Klinsmann again lining up on the back post, looking to get the ball in the air and knock it back.
Effenberg, he's fouled. Kim brought him down. Well, Ron Newman, as Germany is now in a 3-0 lead, the USA can stop cheering for them to win, and they can start cheering for more yellow cards. Effenberg's absence in the next round could affect the USA game.
Exactly. That's exactly what they should be cheering for. That's good news for the United States. Effenberg made a mistake by making that tackle.
Hassler crossing the box, headed out by Chung. And now back to midfield. Lone man back for Germany is the man who was the only man back on the near South Korean goal, Jürgen Kohler.
Randy, coaches are going to have to make decisions now on this yellow card situation as to whether they should pull people off.
The whistle, and we are through the first half here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. And all those players that have been under air conditioning will be glad for the break. There's Klinsmann's first goal. The heat didn't bother him. In fact, the Germans fed off the scorching temperatures here in the first half. Klinsmann's goal in the 19th minute, and then it just kept on coming. Guido Buchwald with the pass into the post, and Karl-Heinz Riedle with his first goal for Germany since last October gave them a 2-0 lead. But there's more. Riedle this time on the delivering end, and it would be Klinsmann with that volley. Not a good play by the South Korean keeper, but a brilliant one by Germany's superstar. Jack Edwards will join us in the ESPN studio with World Cup highlights and a look at the teams vying for a berth in the second round. It's halftime. It's 3-0 Germany. Halftime in this final game of these two teams in Group C, Germany with the commanding 3-0 lead over South Korea. Randy Hahn along with Ron Newman. Ron, Germany showing their best form of the tournament so far in that first half. They were like Panzer tanks coming down the field and just burying goals in succession into the South Korean net.
Well, really the difference is Klinsmann. The Koreans have made some chances, but they don't have a Klinsmann. I mean, Klinsmann is able to put this ball away with no space at all. This was a brilliant play. All the kids can watch this. Look, flick it up and hook it. It's much easier easier to turn when the ball's in the air like that than to try to turn when the ball's on the ground.
And then Germany took a 2-0 lead, only to have it come back to Klinsmann again for his second goal of the game.
Again, no space at all. He's battling for, you're talking about inches inside the penalty box, Randy, and he finds the inches, he finishes it off.
Germany with a 3-0 lead at halftime as Klinsmann has sole possession of the goal-scoring lead in the World Cup. We'll be back.
At the 1982 World Cup, arguably the most attractive footballing team were France. In the semi-final, they played West Germany, and leading 2-1 in extra time, they scored a goal that typified their style of play. This shot by Alain Giresse ended a great move and took France close to their first final. But their hopes were dashed as the Germans fought back to win on penalties.
One of the great games in World Cup history as Harald Schumacher emerged as a hero on that day. On this day, the German offense has been outstanding, and the Koreans left to sit out in the sun with the paint drying on them. And the Korean defense has had all kinds of trouble with Klinsmann, Riedle, and all those servicing those forwards inside the penalty area as it's 3-0 Germany at the half. Checking the halftime statistics, Korea actually out shooting Germany 11-7. The scoring chances have been even. It's just as you pointed out earlier, Ron Newman, Germany has Klinsmann and Riedle, great finishers, and the Koreans just haven't been able to finish.
That's right. Unless they can get Klinsmann to change his nationality, I think they're still going to have trouble. But they can make opportunities, and it's been the trend for Korea, isn't it, not to finish the chances.
We talked about Klinsmann obviously in the open of our program, and he's come through. So has Lothar Matthäus, who I think was as big a reason for South Korea's lack of success in that first half as anything. He made stop after stop. But what about the South Koreans, Ron? We talked about number 6, Jung Jin Lee, the midfielder who had really come through in the first 2 games. He was pulled in that first half, and they've really got to be disjointed now in the midfield and wondering where their attack is going to come if they're to come back here.
Well, I was surprised to see him pulled because he'd had 2 good games in the previous games. I couldn't detect an injury, and it must have been a tactical move to put Chung in unless they felt that the game was getting away from him.
Well, it's cooling off here. It's only 116 degrees now. But it was over 120 degrees at kickoff. And I'll tell you, it was not a lot cooler than that at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena yesterday. This segment of the game is presented commercial-free by MasterCard. Germany with the ball. It's those 2 again, Riedle and Klinsmann, but this time it's cleared away by Jong Sun Chung for Korea. And now they'll have the corner kick as Germany starts, or throw-in rather, as they start right where they ended off. A new goalkeeper for Korea coming in for the veteran Choi In-young. It is number 22, Woon Jae Lee. Only his second ever game for South Korea, and he is going to be busy, I think.
Yeah, Choi made that terrible mistake on Riedle's, I think it was his second goal, and so they've replaced him.
Lee is the youngest player on the South Korean team. He's only 21, and he's from a university team, Gyeonggi, so he's not a professional. Hasn't played in this World Cup and has only played once for them before. What a debut on the World Cup stage, trying to keep your team in a game that you trail 3-0. Kohler, who had a super first half, clears it out. He saved what seemed like a certain goal for South Korea after Bodo Illgner bobbled it. And now it comes to Illgner inside the German penalty area. A little pressure there, but not much from Ju Sung Kim. Number 11 for South Korea, the super sub. Number 11, who was the hero in the game against Spain, Seo, is in now. And leaving the game is number 10, Jong Woon Ko. So the South Koreans with 2 substitutions to start the second half. Here's a great run by Germany's number 8, Thomas Hassler. And now some words exchanged by Hassler in the direction of Jong Sun Chung. And the Koreans have to be getting a little frustrated the way the Germans keep coming down the field.
That's got to be the longest run of the day. He's gone from one corner of the field to the other. And I assume now that Hassler is going to take a one long breather. You can't expect him to make another very fast run.
There's the new keeper, Lee. Here's the corner now as Brema tees it up. Bending away from goal. Now running onto it is Mateus. Saved by Lee. That was skipped along the ground. If it had any kind of a bounce to it when Mateus hit it, it could have been a rocket.
Well, Lee will be very pleased to have managed to bring this one in, because Mateus has scored many goals from there. But Lee got down real well, got the whole of his body behind it, and didn't let a rebound out. Good way to start.
An obstruction foul in midfield. Incidentally, as the ball's played up, here's a chance. Klinsmann trying to chip Lee. And Lee reacting well to that, but Klinsmann really upset with himself. He had a chance for the hat-trick goal right there.
Yep. 3 goals for that one. That would have been quite an easy one for Klinsmann.
Well, this first minute or 2 of the second half has not gone well for South Korea. Germany has had 2 or 3 chances already. The long-range Mateus shot. Klinsmann there on the chip, and here they come again. Buchwald to Brema. Now it's Sammer. Mateus. Kohler in for Klinsmann, and he's forced, thanks to the foul, off the ball, and now a free kick. Jung by Park, the guilty party.
Germany playing clever soccer there, Randy, knocking the ball around, frustrating the Koreans. The Korean spirit's going to go any minute now. They're not going to be able to keep up this running if they don't think they've got a chance. It's going to get easier and easier for the Germans.
The wall getting organized for South Korea. And now Brema's asking for them to back off, and he's getting agreement from the referee, but only an inch or 2 do they move. Brema will let it go, and it's a rising shot over the crossbar. As Brema will go back into his defensive position. Well, here are the Group C standings as they stand right now. A win and a tie for Germany, 4 points and a +4 goal differential. Spain right now in the second position, tied in points with South Korea, but the goal differential is going to be the killer for South Korea. They need to have a tie in this just to keep their mathematical hopes alive. Cleared to the far side, and South Korea will start from deep in their own half. They trail 3-0, and you see we're in the 51st minute here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. A sellout crowd here today. This is the first sellout they've had at the Cotton Bowl, and you would expect a big crowd. This is really the most attractive matchup in this group, which probably was the least attractive group from this city standpoint, in that many of the fans in this group didn't travel with their countries, Germany being the exception. Many fans here from Germany.
Germany's always an attractive team. Well-known names.
This is Kim. CO, the sub. Back for Choi, number 12. Now up the middle, Kim trying to advance it. Gets it to the front of the box. Nice back heel. Problem was nobody ran onto it. Huang tried it, but it just goes wide and back into Germany's possession.
Well, they got CO's out there, super sub, number 11. You remember him coming in against Spain and breaking down the right wing 2 or 3 times before he eventually got that equalising goal in the final seconds of the game.
3-0 Germany. And that's advanced for Klinsmann, and he's called for the foul, pulling on the jersey of the Korean defender. Klinsmann really on a streak, goal scoring. He now has 14 goals in 17 games since 1993 for Germany. He has 2 here today. Here's a chance for Korea. This is Huang, and it's in! South Korea scores!
Drifts away here, finds find some space, and now he does what he didn't do in the first half. He lifts the ball over the spread eagle goalkeeper, and if he'd have done that in the first half, he'd have had 2 goals now. Here it is again. There, and he just lifts a little bit, just over the top of the goalkeeper. Well taken goal. He hasn't scored for a long time. Wang. Excellent. Excellent finish.
So it's 3-1. And now a cross back into the South Korean 18-yard box by Riedla. Wanted Klinsmann and trying to get that one right back there. But Korea gets on the board. It is 3-1 Germany. Lots of time left here in the second half. Hwang gets the goal from Park in the 52nd minute. Second goal of his career for Hwang in this his 52nd game. We talked about him earlier being the active scoring leader, but he'd gone through a dry spell, and it ends there. And now it's off Kohler. Can he keep it in? He does. Sends it up for number 18, Klinsmann, paired up with Riedla. Korea able to clear it back to midfield, and it'll come to Jong-Son Chung. So that will inspire South Korea a little bit. They worked hard to get into the position to score their first goal, had some good chances in the first half, and it finally comes here in the second. Participating in bringing you today's game is Sprint, the exclusive provider of long-distance voice and data communications for World Cup USA 94. And by Gillette. Gillette Sensor and the Gillette Series. Gillette, the best a man can get. This portion of the game presented commercial-free by Canon as Bodo Ilgner picks it up at the edge of the 6-yard box. And the Koreans trying to take advantage of some little momentum here, testing the German keeper again as Stefan Effenberg will clear it upfield. Headed down there by Shin number 7, and it comes back to Chung.
The Germans need to be a little careful now because, as you said, there's plenty of time left. And another goal could make it very difficult for the Germans.
They look for Hwang in the box, but the cross goes off Effenberg, I believe. Or did it? Ko may have just kicked it out himself, trying to bend it back to the right wing, and that's the call. It'll go back to Bodo Ilgner, who you see there jogging over to get to the ball. And Ilgner has only given up a goal in this tournament until that one. That was against Spain. Not a bad tournament for him. Only 2 goals against. Speaking of Spain, they continue to lead at Soldier Field in Chicago, 1-0 over a decimated Bolivian side that is feeling the brunt of FIFA's beefed up yellow and red card rulings this year. They have 3 starters out of their lineup today. And now a foul in midfield. It is Guido Buchwald upended. Let's look at Group B now. Brazil with 6 points and a 5-goal differential on the plus side. Sweden second, and that group will be decided in the game between those two tomorrow at the Silverdome in Pontiac. Here's Germany on the attack. Klinsmann in front. Riedla's there too. Riedla got to the ball, but a defender between him was able to clear it out. Back they come again. Klinsmann to the right foot. Marked there by Park. But the Koreans with their hands full. Sammer, and he'll send it back as Germany reorganizes. Effenberg waited too long, lost the ball. Here come the Koreans with their speed and their attack. Cross back to the middle, not a good return ball for Ko, as Hwang, the goal scorer from a couple of moments ago, needed more pace on that ball. Now the Koreans are caught upfield. Here comes Sammer on the left wing. He's got Klinsmann with him, moving into the heart of the penalty area. Sammer, cross. Riedla won't reach this, and it's headed out, and the defender back there had more options than that. But number 7, Shin, puts it out for corner kick. And there's the game we talked about. Brazil against Sweden, 3:55 Eastern, 12:55 Pacific tomorrow from the Silverdome in Pontiac, as the top 2 teams in Group E play their final game of the first round. And that will be a packed house on the natural grass in the dome tomorrow. Now the corner coming for Germany. There's Klinsmann trying to shake free his man marker in the penalty area. Choi, number 12, is sticking with him. The cross comes to Riedla's side. Cleared to the front of the box, and now Hwang with it. Germany leads Korea 3-1, and Hwang with a gamble there, and he gave it right back to Germany. Shot by Riedle. And now it'll come over the end line. So that was Mateus letting the shot go from long range. And another corner for Germany.
That was another one of those long-legged stops by Mateus, because they were on a counter-attack there, and Mateus has a wonderful ability to read these things.
The corner hammered into the box. Kohler will chase it down. And then Kim cuts in front of him. And they'll call the foul against Kohler there.
Surprised they're leaving Kohler in. He's still on that yellow card. And one bad tackle, which was almost there, could be a second yellow card.
Korea had a tremendous second half in their first game of this World Cup on opening day back on June 17th. They scored 2 goals in the last 5 minutes to get a tie, and they're basically faced with the same situation again here now, down by 2 in the second half with the heat and humidity. So this is all familiar to them, Ron.
Yeah, they must be feeling this, talking amongst themselves in the dressing room. They must say, we can do things in the last 10 minutes. They're now only 2 goals down. It's a critical goal, that first goal that Korea got. As we said earlier, they're making chances, and it's got to make the Germans a little bit more nervous about how many players they can send forward.
Riedle heading it across for Klinsmann, couldn't control it. Now it's Hong Ji-shin, number 7. Bumped ahead for Lee. Lee going left side. He's got Hong wide. Hong looking back through the middle, and it's blocked out over the end line, and South Korea will get a corner. Kohler there again, and he has been all world back there for Germany, snuffing out attack after attack, but South Korea will get a good dead ball situation here. They show short corner with Shin standing just a yard off the flag. Now he gives it back. Punched into the box. Over the head of the first attacker. The volley, and it's just deflected wide as Ilgner dives to his left. And it'll go back to Germany on the goal kick.
This goes right over the top, and he's got a chance, but it hits Bremer on the rear end just to push it wide. That was a corner kick.
And they didn't get the call. Saw it on our replay, but of course they're not using replays for calls like that. It was CO again for Korea, and he came in that game against Spain, which we have been talking about, and was an impact player from the moment he stepped onto the field. And he had a chance to make an impact right there.
I think we call him super sub there, Randy. He really is making a difference in the game.
Now the Germans, as Bremer crosses it, edge of the 6-yard box. Klinsmann in the neighborhood, but young Moon Jae-lee, the 21-year-old keeper for South Korea, able to grab that. And now cleared back to Mateus. An interesting substitution there, Ron, because the oldest player for South Korea came out when In Young Choi left, and the youngest player for them came in when Lee replaced him. Maybe an indication of a future changing of the guard in goal for South Korea.
I think so.
Ball at the edge of the box, a chance for Hwang, but it's cleared by Bremer. Nice job by Hassler to work it out of trouble. Riedle, the front man up there, always challenging for these loose balls. And it's cleared back to Lee. Now entering the 62nd minute here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
The game is well spread out now because of the heat. The players are not able to keep in contact with each other all the time. There's lots of space out there at the moment.
Bremer knocks it back for Lothar Mateus. Mateus, a former World Player of the Year, and now playing in what seemingly will be his last World Cup for Germany. Again controlling, and the Germans taking an opportunity here not just to waste time, Ron, but also just to catch a breath, because it is necessary in any game, but especially when the heat is such as it is today.
Absolutely, because they're doing it for both teams, but I think they're taking the sting out of the Koreans now. The Koreans have put up a little bit of a battle here in the last few minutes. They need to take the sting out of their game.
Guido Buchwald, who has come back well off the injury. Bremer Korea trying to work it with Buchwald on the near side. Seo is there and has it back for South Korea, but he is way deep in his own zone, and he needs to get down to the other end. South Korea trailing 3-1, and this will be their last game of this World Cup unless they can at least get even with Germany. They're able to get through with a tie if they get some help, but a loss will send them back home to Asia. Kohler heads it, but not out of trouble. From the midfield, a blast, Ilzer, and it's off the side of the net, or is it in? It's in. It's in. Korea has scored a brilliant goal. It seemed to have been parried to the side, but it caught the inside of the post, and Korea's climbed back to within a goal. A substitution, Lothar Matthäus coming off for Germany, but that's not the story. The story is South Korea. They're doing it again, and they've scored 2 successive goals.
Look at this shot. This is from 30 yards out, and it's just missed his fingertips. From where we were sitting, it looked like it went outside of the goal, but it went in. Hang again.
Ilzer diving to his left and in desperation trying to extend his fingertips to that ball, but Myung-Bo Hong, number 20 from the POSCO Adams, scores a huge goal here for South Korea, and this game has completely turned around. Now the Koreans playing with the confidence. Here's Seo, and the Germans have to worry about defending. Kohler clears it to the near side. Hong, as you'll recall, and there he is, also scored the first goal in the comeback against Spain. And then it was Seo to get the goal in the 90th minute to bring them equal.
So we have to look out for Seo right now.
Nice flick. And Ilzer will get to this, but South Korea is playing with a swagger right now, Ron Newman. They know they can score against this German defense. They've popped in 2 here since halftime.
Well, we talked about it earlier in the early part of the game that in the last 10 minutes of the game, the Koreans, I think, do have more energy than most other teams in this tournament in this type of weather. And they are dangerous right now.
Challenge in midfield. Germany able to get it back. Good tracking by Shin for South Korea, and that's just hustle by the Koreans there to get that ball on the far side. And here is Ju Sung Kim, long searching ball. Seo couldn't get the head on that, and it comes out for Germany ball. Spain has scored at Soldier Field in Chicago, second half there. 2-0 now. They lead Bolivia. This group has not been decided yet because Spain can still win it if South Korea can continue their comeback here.
The Korean fans are going crazy at the moment down there, Randy. I think they're smelling blood. A big upset.
Now it's Sammer for Germany, number 16. There's that group of Korean supporters here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. They were dejected 20 minutes ago, but now they're an inspired group and an inspiration to the Korean players. Bolivia just got a goal back. It's 2-1 Spain, and the goals are coming from all corners here since halftime at both Soldier Field and here in Dallas.
I think there's a fatigue factor everywhere. The spaces are opening up. But they've got to do this without Matthäus now.
Now it's Stefan Effenberg chipping it for Klinsmann. He's got lots of company, though. 2 defenders on him. Riedla trying to keep it going. And he'll clear it back to Sammer at the halfway line. Sammer looking up front. And there was a whistle at the moment of the pass for offside. And the Koreans get it back. Germans stepping up to the halfway line as Effenberg is challenging. They want to keep the ball if they can in South Korea's half here, as Riedla now is going to be relied upon for some defense. He's not a luxury when you're trying to fight off inspired team like South Korea who can smell an opportunity to get back into this game. There's a steal for Shin. Shin plays it wide, but a bad ball behind Jungwon Ko. And that was just being a little over anxious to play that ball. He had time, but panicked a little bit.
Yeah, he was looking for a through ball and played it right behind his teammate. Bad time to do it because they had the Germans on the ropes again.
Well, go figure. It's 120 degrees at kickoff, stifling humidity, and we are in the midst of what right now is tied for the highest scoring goal of this World Cup so far. 5 goals. And a 6th would be the highest in the tournament as Riedle breaks into the area. Cleared toward the goal as the defender Park went down. And they will give this back on a goal kick for South Korea. Karl-Heinz Riedle with one of the 3 German goals, trying to put it out of reach for South Korea here.
Riedle nutmegs 2 players here. Through his legs. Through his legs. But it's gone too far. He challenges it hard.
Back the other way. Trailer by Hwang, and South Korea with a chance there.
Who said you can't get end-to-end in this heat? End-to-end soccer now.
Thrilling action here in the second half. And this is as wide open a game as you might ever see Germany play in.
I've never seen as much space. It's incredible because the players just can't get there. As individual efforts now are going to make this whole thing happen here.
Klinsmann knocks it down, and Germany playing an uncharacteristic second half. Here's Moeller with a nice move in midfield. Now he'll cross for Klinsmann. Cleared out. And the Koreans quickly advance it. Now the Germans getting back defensively. They've got 5 behind the ball. Gets to Hwang. He'll let it go through. Chance left side, but it's offside. The offside flag is up on the near sideline. The Korean coaches, and this is not their style, up off their bench to yell at the linesman. It's the World Cup, and tempers are running here as Jungwon Ko broke down that left wing, but he was offside.
That's very, very close. Yes, good call by the linesman, though. He didn't have a replay to go, but that was offside. Just a fraction of a second early.
Kim Ho, the coach for South Korea, sprinted off the bench and right toward the linesman. He had to be restrained. This is Thomas Hassler for Germany. And he lifts a harmless ball into the penalty area. And Lee, the young goalkeeper for South Korea, plays it up the left side. Glad you're with us here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Great game between Germany and South Korea. A 3-0 lead for Germany has almost totally evaporated. It's 3-2. Chance here as they tried to flick it on for CO number 11. He's the man to watch for. He made the magic happen against Spain in the 90th minute. And now Moeller taking his time walking into midfield. Buchwald gives for Klinsmann with his back to the goal. And now the Germans a little more careful on their penetration because they have felt the brunt of the counterattack a few times and they don't want to get too deep.
They've got to be real careful.
Here's Brema. That's the kind of ball that Klinsmann loves, but it just didn't have enough on it. And now Klinsmann pulls up lame away from the play as the ball comes to Hwang. And Korea will get it back, but away from the ball, Jurgen Klinsmann is limping very, very badly.
Randy, the Koreans are running as fast now as they did at the beginning of the game.
CO stripped of it by Brema. That was a perfectly executed tackle. And now Lothar Matthäus. Matthäus clipped from behind. And play allowed to go on in Germany's advantage, but Kim is charged with the foul. Participating in bringing you today's game is Fujifilm. Fuji, a new way of seeing things. And by Adidas, a part of the game for over 70 years. This segment of the game is presented commercial-free by Coca-Cola Classic. Some refreshment for the players here with a break, and they try and consume as much fluid as they can. And we talked to the medical official of the Dallas venue earlier. It's key for these players to keep hydrated. There's a shot blocked at the edge of the box. Moeller with it. First time in 2 World Cups that Germany has allowed more than a goal in a game. A tremendous defensive record. And who would have thought South Korea would break it? Certainly not us at halftime when it was 3-0.
Moeller, number 7 for the Germans. They're the man with the ball now. He's got to start dictating. He's the fresh man. He's got to get the ball. Give it to Moeller. Give it to Moeller. Here it is. Back to him again. He's got to start dictating the game for the Germans. He's the freshest.
Moeller coming in for Mateus just after the second Korean goal. Now Stefan Effenberg looked away. Lost it for a moment. Actually, that was Sammer. Both have that red hair, and you know it's going to be one of the two. Buchwald, and now this is Effenberg. And the crowd, at least those Koreans in the crowd, voicing their displeasure with Germany's tactics here of simply knocking the ball around and running off the clock.
Well, the Koreans have got to go and get the ball. That's part of the tactics.
Into Klinsmann, but offside. And now Lee hurries the ball up the field, as there you see the indication from the linesman, Jürgen Klinsmann, with a brilliant first half, but it's almost all gone for naught. They still lead, but only by 1.
Fraction of a second offside by Klinsmann there. Again, just a step too early.
Here's Seo. And that left footer, not much of a chance at all, but then again, in the comeback against Spain, Seo took a couple of, and particularly one very poor shot, only to come back and win the game. So maybe that's a good sign. Everything here is unfolding very much like did in the opener for South Korea.
That's right. Wasn't a good choice of decisions to make to shoot there. As you say, he didn't do it the last time, but he finished with the one that really counted.
At least he's consistent. Effenberg and the Germans backing off the halfway line. And South Korea will get a foul call go their way. Shin was upended as Buchwald brought him down. And now the restart. Number 20, Myung-Bo Hong with it. And now a substitution coming in for Germany as Effenberg will come out. And number 5, Thomas Helmer will come in. He's a veteran of 25 international appearances, and Germany right now going for some fresh defense with that substitution, Ron.
Yeah, the fresh men are going to be so critical for the German team. They need somebody to pick up the pace a little bit for them. Because the Koreans look like they're in better condition. They're more used to the heat. Or at least they prepared themselves better for the heat.
So there's Helmer from Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga in Germany. And the key for him is he's versatile. He can play the traditional defensive position and also sweep. And with Mateus out of there, the traditional sweeper is not on the field. And a foul at the edge of the 18-yard box. And now Korea will be presented with a great free kick.
Well, he's clipped him. There's almost a yellow card situation right there. But a strange situation happened earlier. There was about 6 Koreans getting a drink over by the touchline when the ball was in play.
Here's Jung-Woon Ko on the free kick. 3-2 Germany. We are in the 76th, approaching 77th minute. Shot! Saved by Ilgner! Jung-Woon Ko cracked it from 19 yards, and another corner will follow.
Jung-Woon Ko is right on target. Right on target. Ilgner had to make sure that he got both hands behind the ball.
He's 6'2", and he needed full extension there on the Korean bench. Exasperation. Now another cross, far post, and the Germans had 3 players on the far side. There's a blast into a wall of German defenders by Hong Ji-shin, but Korea will get it back on the throw-in. Look at the shot totals. 33 shots in this game, 20 by the South Koreans, and once again mirroring that game between South Korea and Spain when the teams combined for an unbelievable shot total as well. Here's Ko. Wide to Kim, keeps it in play. Cleared out by Sammer.
It's turned into a great game, Randy, a great game.
Well, this is discouraging for Germany at this point. Even if they should go on to win the game, Ron, it's hardly the kind of omen you want to present heading into the single knockout phase. Because to give away a 3-goal advantage against South Korea when seemingly you had them buried is not very confident building. Here's Klinsmann offside again.
He's just got a yellow card for doing exactly the same thing in the first half.
He's got to be careful because this referee is prone to pull that yellow card out if he follows in after the whistle.
Obviously, the referee's not consistent with his calls.
Well, the easiest road for the U.S. to get to the second round would be for Germany to win or tie today, and for tomorrow, Russia to defeat or tie Cameroon. Here's a chance for Korea. And we'll get back to that USA possibility because of its importance, but right now, South Korea continuing to hammer away at the Germans. And it's so interesting in this phase of the tournament, Ron, how every result has implications throughout the tournament.
That's what's so exciting, I think. You're absolutely right, Randy. Nobody knows what the outcome's going to be until we've got the final results on the table.
Well, quite honestly, when you read all the possibilities for the United States, you had to be an advanced calculus major just to sort it all out. Suffice to say, the U.S. has an excellent chance to go through, but they're not guaranteed. Kohler heads it out, quickly thrown in, but a foul throw call.
Actually, that's the second foul throw. They had a foul throw earlier, then the linesman didn't see it. I guess he was surprised to see anybody do that, but this is a good call by the linesman.
Not a good play by Joo-Sung Kim on the throw-in. When you're that deep and trying to get one more, you've got to be mindful of every situation, including a foul throw. But Korea gets it back. Germany has not been able to effectively clear their half of midfield. Seo, a short pass, looking to get it back. Stabbing tackle by Helmer, and then he gets up and runs it all the way to the halfway line. Now Helmer running on to a flick pass from Sammer, but it's closed by Chung and cleared back to Lee, the young keeper for South Korea. Up at the other end, Seo was shaken up for South Korea, and he's got to hurry to stay on side now as they try and advance it on the left wing. And here come the Koreans. Played back to the middle. Shin slides it to the right. Now they'll try and work it on the right side to Hong. Hong into the box. Seo runs onto it. Ilgner comes off the line. Open net chance. Far post cross and cleared out by Hassler. And Bodo Ilgner made a gamble move there, Ron Newman, but it was the right move. Now here's a chance off the throw-in. Lifted clear to midfield. Klinsmann, the only man up there for Germany. They may need him to defend because right now South Korea is throwing all they have at the Germans.
The Germans under pressure now. Totally under pressure here. Another good sweet moves here. It's a beautiful pass. Again, he didn't lift it over the goalkeeper like they just did in the previous score. It was an excellent chance.
Well played by Ilgner as well. Can't be timid on that ball. If you make the commitment to come off your line and chase it down, you can't change your mind, and he didn't. Now Helmer, who is fresh back there on defense, had his man. They try to play it in for Seo. And a foul in the box against South Korea. And they were looking for a call handball the other way.
Yeah, they shaded handball, and the referee gave it against them.
Well, he didn't say who, he just said handball.
But the Germans were very slow getting back there. The Germans are absolutely exhausted. And players are showing up in enormous space. It's very difficult to put one leg in front of the other right now for the Germans.
Well, Well, they certainly used some energy to get their 3-0 lead in the first half. They were unrelenting for a stretch, really right from the opening kick when they scored in the 12th minute and then 7 minutes after that.
They're not finding any of their men now.
The Koreans right now showing to be a fitter team than the Germans, who are known for their fitness. Brema clears it. Now advanced by Hong. Stepping up is Helmer, and he's about the best thing they did in the second half, the Germans, is get him out there to help defensively because they need fresh legs in the back. There's a nice move by Buchwald, who still has a little gas left in the tank. Guido Buchwald, and a foul call. No foul. They'll say that it went out off Buchwald for South Korea ball.
There's the handball they were looking for. I couldn't just see whether it hit his arm or not. It looked like it did.
3-2, Germany leads. Now into the 83rd minute. This is, well, South Korea's got them right where they want them. About 4 or 5 minutes left. All they need is a goal. They play it wide out to Hwang. Hwang beats Sammer. Crossbar post. Needed to take a look first. Cross back into the middle. And Helmer will head that out for throw-in. No, not for throw-in. It's kept in. Now the Koreans quickly advance it to the edge of the box. Jung Won-ko backs away. Now gets it back. And Helmer away from the ball, or Brema rather, shoving the attacker for Korea down. This is Choi. Chung punches it back into the box. Seo, double team, gets away from it. Seo! And he crossed it wide. Back into the box. Miscommunication. Both Ilgner and Helmer went for it. Korea's got it again. Seo looking for it in the area. It comes out to Choi. Choi's drive! Great save by Bodo Ilgner!
The Germans are all at sea, Randy. All at sea.
It is desperation time for Germany.
Here's Choi's shot. It's going to find the corner. Great save by Ilgner. He's going to have to keep on his toes because Germans can't stop these shots coming in at the moment.
Jung Won-ko getting set on the corner kick. He'll bend it toward the far post. And it's cleared out. Buchwald getting high. Now Klinsmann. And he is way, way back in the German half. He has to be. He'd be lonely up in the other half. The ball's rarely there. Now the Koreans get it wide again. Terrible midfield play by Germany.
Klinsmann's lost every ball in the second half. He's not managed to control one ball coming through. He's not able to take the pressure off his defense.
Chipped in for Seo. Helmer there. And it's towed out. But again, the Koreans with possession. No one moving to the open balls for Germany. Klinsmann late to react there. And this is a fatigued and disjointed German side right now. The heat has taken its toll, and South Korea is dominating here.
Nice save. Palmed it around the post.
Ilgner and his ability may be all the Germans can hope for here. As time runs down, they're clinging to a 1-goal lead. Is it important that they win this game for Germany? You bet it's important. If they allow another goal, Spain would win the group. Still time for Korea here. And they keep coming in waves. Kim, number 4, measures it into the box and headed out by Germany. That was Moeller all the way back at the front of the 6-yard box. Back they come again. Choi. And Germany simply is just giving the ball back to South Korea at the halfway line and waiting for them to come. Here they come again. Seo, nice move at the edge of the box. Kohler just recovered. Now he gets some support from Brema, but Seo has some sweet moves, and he turned Kohler around there. Were it not for the support of Brema, Seo could have been on his way.
Seo is causing all sorts of problems because of those quick moves, and the Germans' legs are so heavy that he looks like a world beater at the moment out there, Seo. But the Germans just cannot get possession and keep possession.
The Koreans are reacting to this extreme heat and humidity as if they are from South America, not Asia.
They must have air-conditioned shirts on, I think.
been a remarkable second half after a remarkable first half. Two separate displays, one by Germany, but the more important display by South Korea here in the second. But they need one to tie. The Germans just desperately struggling here to hang on and win.
I've never seen a game like this in all my life, Randy, where players can just not walk. Absolutely fatigued.
Karl-Heinz Riedel is standing still in midfield. Play comes the other way. The Koreans with the extra adrenaline rush because they know they can still get into the second round with a tie.
They love to hear that referee's whistle there for a foul inside the penalty box to give the Germans a little bit of respite. This is torment for the Germans, absolute torment.
Tremendous conditioning by the South Koreans to take advantage of this for a second time in this tournament. Obviously today against a far more quality side than Spain. And they have not done this by chance. This is by design to be conditioned for these games. And South Korea may be the best conditioned team in this tournament for these high temperatures. They have shown an ability to play their best soccer in the second half of these brutally hot games.
Dropping for the Koreans all the time, probably because they've got that little sharper movement in their legs.
A mismeasure there by Choi, and now he'll send it across the field, or try to, but it almost goes straight up and comes straight down. Kohler and Kim battling in the air, if you can call it a battle with the amount of energy left in the Germans.
Got to get something here.
Moeller clipped as he tried to advance it into the 18. A yellow comes out. And that's the second yellow of the tournament.
Yeah, number 12, Choi, got his second yellow card.
Young Il Choi. But right now, the South Koreans are a long shot to get to the next round. They are mathematically alive only if they tie. And here's another look.
There it is, yeah. He just stuck a leg out. But I thought there was a little dive there by the German player. I didn't think there was a real lot of connection there.
Well, a goal off a free kick here would initiate a sigh of relief that could be heard all the way from Munich. Because the Germans are desperately clinging to life here in this game. Moeller bending it, and he never got close to that top corner. Moeller, the freshest of the Germans out there, along with the defender Helmer. Everyone else for Germany is laboring. And when one reflects now on some of Bodo Illgner's saves in the second half, he just may be the difference here between winning and losing for Germany. Not Klinsmann down at the other end, oddly enough. Shot from long range. Might have been better options there than to let that go. And now the Germans have some time to waste some time. Riedla wide on the near side, looking into the box. Klinsmann running toward it, but Lee is there and quickly throws it up the left wing.
That was a terrible decision by Riedla. At this stage of the game, he's got to keep possession. He should have run it into the corner flag and tried to kill off the clock. The clock is his best ally at this moment to kick an aimless ball across the goal mouth. Like that for the goalkeeper is not what you expect professionals to do.
I don't recall seeing Germany this desperate ever in a game. I'm sure it's occurred somewhere, but certainly not in recent World Cup play. They are a desperate team right now with a one-goal lead.
They're in real trouble.
Here's a chance in the box for Korea. Lifted far post! Not enough room or time. Hwang running onto it, getting there just late. And it's goal kick Germany. Yeah,
that's a good idea. The ball's just clipped in behind and clipped to the back post. But it's come too close to the goal for Hwang. He couldn't possibly get it. But the idea was good. The quick early passes by the Koreans is making the Germans desperate.
We are in injury time, as you see. Now to the 92nd minute. The Germans just praying for the whistle. Time to linger for Germany. There's Spain. They've defeated Bolivia now 3-1. They're praying for a Korea comeback here. If Korea can get one here at the edge of the box. A foul or a penalty? It's going to be a foul right at the edge of the 18-yard box, and with a minute 40 into injury time, South Korea will get a free kick from 18.5 yards out.
He goes right into traffic here. He's right in there, but he's hooked down there, and then there's another. I don't know which one he decided to call, but I think there were two fouls by a desperate German team, and this is very, very dangerous.
What a climax to Group C play. This is the final game of the first round in this group, and it's come down to this as the Koreans have a chance here to come all the way back. Germany has survived this incredible comeback, and they will defeat South Korea, and the Koreans will go home.
Well, Sammer was the hero with that block there at the last second. I'm surprised they didn't jump on him and hug him for that save.
So much energy expended by the South Koreans here in the second half. The Germans just dragging themselves around the field for the final 20 minutes. Kohler sends his appreciation to the crowd that baked in this sweltering heat as well. A disappointing end to South Korea's World Cup, but they leave heroes in the minds of many. Klinsmann turns out to be the hero after all. 2 goals for number 18. He and the Germans win the group. They'll advance to the round of 16. It's a final here at the Cotton Bowl. Germany 3, South Korea 2. The World Cup on ESPN.